Welcome back, NicknLex here. Thank you so much for being here. We got a new episode today lined up. Thank you so much for being here, and I wanted to prepare you all. This is going to be a amazing jazz ride sponsored by RG. Thank you so much, RG, for sponsoring this video. This is going to get really interesting because there's a lot of artists here. Well, that not I don't know all of them, but I've just did a little bit of research, and just like the people involved here are just amazing. So the first song we're going to do is by Pat Metheny. Just Pat Metheny's Already I'm Sold. This is pretty scattered from the album 8081. This is 1980. We got Pat Metheny here, Charlie Hayden on bass, Jack DeJohnette on drums, Dewey Reitman, and Michael Brecker, my God, on tenor sax. So yeah, what else do we need in life, right? Then we got the Paul Motian trio. Is that Motion? Give me 1 second. Yeah. And that is the song Fiasco. From It Should Have Happened Long Ago. This is 1985. We have Paul, it's Motian. Oh, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Drums, Joe Lovano, sax, Bill Frisell. I just did a Bill Frisell reaction yesterday. Awesome. Can't wait for that. And then Everyman Band, Japan Smiles. From Everyman Band 1982, David Torn on the guitar, Marty Vogel, tenor sax, Bruce Yaw on bass, Michael Surowski on the drums. And then we got Linc Chamberland, Indeed, from a Place Within 1977. Now, I did read that this is super extreme, super difficult to play, and so yeah, we're going to have some fun with this. So we have Linc Chamberland on guitar, Dave Liebman on tenor sax, Lynn Christie on bass, and Bob Leonard on drums. This is from YouTube. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. If you want to grab yourself something to drink, something to eat, because it's going to be a long video. Yeah, so I hope you do enjoy. Thank you again, RG, for providing all this great jazz. This is the third jazz marathon this week. And I've also did some on my own, which I now can't really release because I don't want to, saturate the channel with jazz. But I did like the jazz hour that we're, coming up with. But I did some really different jazz. So more guitar oriented. All right, so let's give it up for Marty Friedman. We're going to go see Marty Friedman on Friday. Let's give it up for Pat Metheny here. And here we go. Hope you enjoy. cool here. Different sound he has on the guitar. It sounds a little bit more like Mike Stern. I recently bought this really cool Yamaha pedal and pretty much got a Pat Metheny pad on here, Eric Johnson, Mike Stern, Alan Holdsworth. They're so it's all about the delay with those and also, well, reverb kind of not so much with but I mean it really depends on the player, but here it sounded literally at the beginning a little bit like Mike Stern, but then when he started to improvise you could hear his style. You know, Pat Metheny has a very particular style of playing, but I love that he even incorporated here some arpeggios, which I don't hear that much. And also a lot of octaves, like he was playing a lot of octaves. Really cool. So now to Mr. Brecker here, and which they're doing a fantastic job doing like the harmonies, tenor sax. Dewey, Redman, and Michael Brecker are doing this. So let's give him a whirl here. Wow. I loved how like Pat Metheny was playing along with the trumpets, like the theme But also like just the two saxes harmonizing with the electric guitar of Pat Metheny, really cool. And I love the solo. Whoever played the solo, or maybe it was both of them, but I mean, their phrasing is so crazy. Like it's so out there. It's so hard to do. I mean, it's so masterful. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I do get some glimpses of what he's doing, but then sometimes there's so much chromaticism in there that you can't really decipher the scales at that speed, you know. But it's still great, you know. You can always slow it down if you want to practice it. Okay, so give me 1 second because I'm just afraid that I'm mispronouncing this. It's so small. Motian. Okay, so Paul Motian. I said motion, so I apologize. Paul Motian is next with Fiasco, and it says here 85. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see. Now this one I've never heard. Never heard all three of them. The next ones. The Everyman band either. So let's go with Fiasco first. So Bill Frisell here on the synth guitar, so that's what you're hearing. I'm actually loving this stuff. I know it's very odd. It's very hard to get into this, but once you kind of get into it, I guess it is pretty enjoyable, you know. Yeah, that I mean, this stuff is just it's not for everyone, Like if you don't listen to jazz or like this kind of you can be a jazz literally aficionado, but there is a line, that when you cross that line, this is like different. This is it's not very harmonious anymore. It's just very actually purposefully like it's not harmonious. It's just more it's free jazz, completely free, and it's just improvisation. And many people would be like, well, it's just people playing random notes. But I mean, I know they know exactly what they're doing. And if you see it like that, then you basically see the art form behind it. Like for example, Bill Frisell, his sound, I mean, um, was interesting, but just the phrasing was not very. I don't know. It didn't really do much for me, and I'm just discovering Bill Frisell. But I mean, when I hear guitar synth, usually it's with Alan Holdsworth, and it's very, I don't know. I'm just used to a certain sound, so it felt a little flat for me, that one. But oh my God, Joe Lovano, he destroyed like that sax. I mean, I don't know what he was doing, but I wish I could do it. So, it's insane. I mean, those scales, and I really try and listen and try and get what scale is being played. You can kind of like get a glimpse of, what they're doing, but then it becomes so fast that um, it is really hard to follow, And then I don't have a instrument in my hand I can't really replicate. So, but yeah, this was great. This was a great track. I love the drumming at the end as well. I'm sure here, like for me, Joe Lovano, and Paul, like were the stars. Bill Frisell was good, but it was just too abstract for me. Maybe I have to get into it. It's like it took me a lot of time to get into Holdsworth. It took me a lot of time to get into Coltrane. It took me a lot of time to get into Miles Davis, and so it's gonna take me some time to get into other, other venues like this. But it's fantastic stuff. Like I said, it's not for everyone. Maybe a lot of people are gonna be turned off by this. I'm sorry, but it's just it is what it is. This is jazz. That's not for everyone. Okay, we're gonna continue with Everyman Band, Japan Smiles. Let's see if it has some like Oriental scales and or stuff like that. Because I just like I was talking about Marty Friedman, I was just amazed how he incorporates Japanese, literally Japanese music into his playing. Fantastic. I think I'm gonna make a Marty Friedman marathon soon on my account, just like okay, so here we are with Japan Smiles. Here we go in 1982. this is like so good. This is so much fun. I mean, the guitar and the sax playing literally the same part. They're not even harmonizing. This is great. This is a lot of fun. This is something I would like to learn. You know, just sit down, figure it out, and have fun with a sax player. Man, great stuff. I'm loving this. Beautiful. David Torn here, Marty Bogle. Wow. Wow, I'm looking at some pictures here by David Torn. Very interesting. And I can already see, you know, what kind of player he is. And but just by listening to him and also the guitars that he's using, a lot of experimentation here, headless guitars, synth guitars. Yeah, it's like, that's the guitar player I'm into. Very cool. This was a very cool piece. Okay, so we're gonna continue. And now this is a piece we're gonna play from YouTube. So I'm just gonna load it up super quick. All right, and here we have Linc Chamberland. Indeed. Here we go. Very good. All right, and that was it. I think Linc Chamberlain, let's see. His guitar playing reminds me a little bit of Django Reinhardt's, and maybe not the scales, but just like the staccato-y attack of the scales. You hear the pick very much. It's not a bad thing, but very, very fast, very cool, like scales and very cool arpeggios that he was doing. Really cool that he can, like, you know, play along with the sax and then everybody takes their solo. It's just like it's music that's like, I even when I clicked on the video and I read the comments, and it like it was like, it's for example, it says certainly a great representation of that time in jazz, and then nobody had a sound like Link's, and then extreme jazz too hard, and and it's just, there's not a lot of comments. I like the video. There's not enough likes on this type of music. It's just like what I say, that unfortunately this music is not as popular among just like normal listeners, because it is very extreme, and but we hope to change that. RG and I mean, I'm literally coming up with this a thing called the Jazz Hour, where Alexia and I sit down and we listen to this kind of music. Maybe not as extreme yet, because we want to kind of like ease people into it, but yeah, this is sadly it's just like misunderstood, like for example, I even tried we were once I think it was just once or twice we sat down, my dad and I, and he was listening to like strictly to like my Paul Desmond and Stan Getz and Oscar Peterson and Chick Corea and stuff like that, and I tried to play him something more like jazz fusion, and he was like, no, I'm not doing it. And that's a person who grew up in in the 50s and 60s, in the 70s, and but he was just like, it's too much. It's like, that's not the jazz that he was more into, like, I guess in the jazz of the 40s and 50s. He was a huge Django Reinhardt fan, like huge. When I played him Birelli Lagrin, oh my god, amazing. But yeah, I tried some Mike Stern. No, I tried some what was it? Pat Metheny. He did like Pat Metheny. And but it was just like, yeah, it's kind of like an odd thing that even jazz like jazz well, like, yeah, jazz fans are into certain types of jazz, and then there's a line that they don't cross. But it's the same with metal. Look, I listen to heavy metal, thrash metal, power metal, progressive metal, but there comes a metal where I'm like, no, I can't do this, like death metal, or, you know, I don't know, like there's like all these sub genres that are just like, I guess, too much. And maybe after a while you get into it, like the whole like roar. But I can't do it for now. I can't really do it. I have tried. And I think it's the same with this kind of jazz, because it is too fast. Maybe it is too abstract for some people. So yeah, just, my 2 cents on this type of jazz. I really enjoy it because for me it's very adventurous to go into these kind of like, the chord progressions are super hard, the scales are super weird. It's just very difficult, and I think it's just, as a musician, I think it's a lot of fun, but I could see a listener being, turned off a little bit by this. But hey, if you did it, if you made it this far, then you are, into like weird jazz, like free jazz, and that's cool, But you don't have to, if you like it, if you enjoy Kenny G, or stuff that's more, pleasant, and more easy to digest, then that's totally fine. So thank you so much, RG, for this extreme jazz extravaganza. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I do learn a lot about music when I listen to your marathons. I do appreciate it, and I hope maybe there's more people out there who are gonna be like this. I know some people who like Bill Frisell, and I know some people who like Pat Metheny, and yeah, they would definitely love to listen to this. So thank you again. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.